Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this week's VIN-dow with Robert Hollinshead. Bob, there's some stuff percolating along. There could be a big three strike. Have you experienced them before, or what can we expect, or what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, in 6 decades, you hit it here and there, right? I think this one is a little bit weird. It's a little weird, right? Because we were just coming out of the other thing of 3 years of insanity, and no cars, no inventory. Now all of a sudden, everybody's piling up inventory. Now everybody's trying to give cars away again, which is inevitable, right? Because as soon as you start piling up cars and you look out your window, you want to vomit because you can't park your customers' cars. There's so many cars on the lot. So went past a dealer down the street from me, going, you can't park another car in a lot. So that being the 180 opposite of what it's been, and you have different, in many cases, different managers that are now working there that weren't working there when things were normal and then went crazy. Now it's not normal again. Now you're going to actually recognize the personalities and the skill sets. So like nobody fights when there's big money in the bank and nobody's sick and things. Everything's good. It's only when something goes wrong that you start to reveal. Like, do you want to have this? Do you want to be with this cat when somebody starts throwing hands and you're in a fist fight, or is somebody going hightail, right? So, in my estimation, the strike is in a certain way is going to postpone the revelation of who you actually got operating your dealership and the modus operandi and so forth. Another thing, when you think about this, today it's the prices of cars are really the prices of a small house, right? You buy a row house in Kensington for $87,000, but the pickup truck is $112. You know what I mean? So, like it's a little weird. So every time you're looking at a Navigator out on your lot, that's not $38,000 or $52,000 or something. That's a row house in West Philadelphia is what you're looking at there. You know what I mean? So it's not floor plan; it's a mortgage payment. And the mortgage payment you're paying is what? I don't know. I guess they're paying 8% or something. So that car starts getting ugly, like really fast. And then when you got 100 of them sitting there, it gets like triple ugly. And then you got to think about, well, we'll do more service work. Maybe we'll charge more in finance, or we'll sell some trick in finance or something. Because for sure, up front, you're going to give it away. I mean, there's no doubt about that. The idea, we hold. The only weak people don't hold. Now, the cat that's the old lady that's actually the comptroller that's writing that check for the floor plan, she ain't holding. I guarantee you that. And by the way, just so in case anybody lost their mind and believes somebody runs a dealership other than the comptroller, I don't think you're paying attention to how things work, right? When that lady starts screaming, everybody gets a chill up their backside, and they will do the dance. You see what I'm saying to you? There's no question in my mind about that. The big shot walking around out front with the fancy loafers and so forth, that is the owner of the GM or something. He's definitely paying attention to what that person that you never see that's sitting behind the desk back there somewhere, what they're telling him. And that floor plan check is starting to be like for real. You know what I mean? It's that has a lot of like repercussions all the way across the thing, including, well, we don't wholesale cars. No, you definitely going to be wholesaling cars. There's no question about that, because you ain't got no place to park cars, let alone start talking at we retail everything thing, and you ain't even close to being the best end user. It's really weird. This morning I woke up, I looked at my machine, and there's like 8 or 10 cars that we sold. And of course, it's a car that came from a brand that it's their brand. Let's just say pick a name out of the hat. It's a Rover, right? And we bought it from a Rover dealer, and it's a low mileage, good color, white one with 20,000 miles. And you go in AccuTrade and take a look. They were asking $87,000 for it in June, and then in July it was $82,000, and then in August it turns out to be $8,000 less, and then all of a sudden it's $67,000. Well, we paid $72,000. You follow me? Wholesale, of course, anybody would know that. So that means a dealer and a big brand dealer with a big brand, right, is asking 7,000 less retail than what we would pay for at wholesale as a commoditizer, and sell it the same second for a $3,000 advance. So that means that car got sold $9,000 over the retail ask of a brand specific dealer. That's only one example, but it happens all day, every day. It takes you to the point where you stop and think about things. It's really weird. The wholesale market is gargantuan. It's massive. Nobody thinks about it or knows about it because it's behind the thing, and only a few people participate. But new car dealers don't even participate in auctions. Like, generally speaking, when I look at the number of people that are logged in for the day, and it's 6,000 people at the auction, and you got 2,800 people that during the day that were in your lane, and then you see who they are, and then you look to see who bid and who bought, and then you look at the total number of dealers in the country that actually, on a regular basis, take their time to go to an auction and try to purchase a car. There are no new car dealers do that. I mean, you're talking about a very small percentage, 12% maybe, generally speaking. And the rest of the business is done by us animals, used car dealer is selling a car there, put his nuts on the line to buy the car, take a chance with it, gambler degenerate that we are, to find a better end user. After you bring it to the next level, recondition, do whatever you do to the car, put them in an aggregated format so you have more eyeballs watching for the car, right? You're not wasting their time, and then selling every single one of them, win, lose, or draw, right? But who's actually participating? Statistically, in our case, it's a very, very, and we don't sell junk. It's not like we're selling 110,000 mile slugs. Our average mileage car is 32,000. The average price is 42,000. So it's not cars that are just like ready for Copart or something. You follow me? And when you stop and look at who it is that's participating, it's 100%, just about 100%, a used car dealer. You got to include other used car dealers like Carvana. They do bid on cars. They very rarely overpay for a car. Listen careful, next to never pay for a car where we're high-fiving because CarMax was on the car. They'll pay up to what it could be worth, and you might even sell it. We're going to sell it if nobody else is bidding, but they're definitely not paying too much. So it ain't like it's a high five because CarMax is in the lane. It ain't like Charlie Caprera showed up and is ready to let his balls out and just go home with 10 truckloads of cars. No, that's an emotional thing. That's not what happens. But it is a used car dealer. It's not a franchise dealer. So if there happened to be a large buyer in a particular marketplace, that's not franchise dealers. Franchise dealers are the source of cars, and generally speaking, the source of their own brand of cars that they either have too many of them, they aged out, couldn't sell them, or they're trading 53 more exactly like it and have absolutely no appetite. It's the potato chip theory, right? You're not the best potato chip buyer at the grocery store if you just ate dinner. If you didn't eat dinner and you just happen to stop at the grocery store, you might grab 8 bags of potato chips, right? It's exactly the same thing in the wholesale marketplace. You can't invite people to come buy your potato chips that have like lots of potato chips at home and they're trying to lose weight, right? It's really weird when you think a little bit about what we do for a living, price, buy, sell, enable, liquidity, all those things, right? How it relates to other things in your life. It's very weird, actually. And when we think about what this is going to happen with this theoretically shortage of cars, which that's going to take a while because there's still plenty of cars laying around these dealers' lots. It ain't like there's some sort of shortage. How long that's going to be, and then how long it's going to take for it to replenish. So you're probably a couple of 2-3 months if it happens, and when they stop, and when the shortage actually occurs, when's that then? Halloween or something, maybe, because they definitely got 30 days worth of stuff laying around they can muddle through, right? And then how it comes out the other side. It's not COVID, that's for sure. This ain't going to be no 1 year, 2 year thing where everybody lost their mind. And what really it doesn't worry me, but I think about is what happens on the other side, when those lots really do load up and there isn't a world war or another disease or no, but they're not happy working, so they go on strike. When all of that things stop, right, and these cars start piling up. Oh, wait. And then we add the imbecile factor that everybody's going to be driving an electric car in 10 years. And you can't give them bitches away, right? And now the manufacturer, other than Tesla, because the guy's got a brain, he can modulate things a little bit differently than board of directors driven entities, where we're going to make the commitment and the dealer's going to spend. Listen to this. Very dear friend of mine, a Ford dealer, like a friend, not cars, but a friend, right? So no guarded conversation. They're making them pay $1 million to put the charging station in for cars that they can't sell. Nobody wants them. Think about that. So it's a dealer. It's a guy. He's not gigantic, but he ain't small, and he's pulling $1 million out of his pocket. And don't forget, it's 8% interest when you start playing around with the cash, right? So, and now you're putting in things that nobody cares about. That's a difficult pill to swallow, Sean. Don't you agree to that? I mean, if I'm in his shoes and you're sitting there looking at cars up the gazools stacked on top of one another, can't park cars because they're jammed full of cars, and now you got the manufacturers making things that nobody on earth wants, or a very small percentage of people that are going to save the world, right, are going to buy. And you got a competitor like Tesla that is a complete wild man that could absolutely change the price of his cars any day he feels like it to crush you. You follow me? In other words, that don't look like a really interesting scenario to me. That's weird. I don't know. Just things that are floating through there. Probably nobody gives a flying piss about it, but that was on the top of the head this morning, Shawnee. What do you think, Phil?
I'll just add one more thing to dealerships converting over. So we always sell a bunch of forklifts every year for a big industrial warehousing company. Anyways, all of a sudden popping in the lanes are these franchise stores starting to buy these forklifts because they got to move the batteries around their lots, right? So do they need them? Who knows? But they're stepping up and buying them. So just another an aside.
So they're getting prepared to move the batteries around, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Anyway.
So in your neck of the woods, Shawnee, are people like just can't wait to get their electric car in their driveway, or is it kind of the same thing that I see everywhere I go? Nobody cares. Is it you have more theoretically environmentally astute people in up in your neighborhood?
Lots of regrettable purchases we see, especially with contractors buying the electric. Yeah. So it's happening fast. I know in California they had a study. 1 out of every 5 go back to internal combustion engine, and it's probably even higher around my neck of the woods for sure.
Yeah, it's these are like cards that are being thrown on the table, man. That I don't think anybody can predict. Nobody's smart enough. God couldn't predict what's going to happen, but to me, it keeps a certain degree of uncertainty in everybody's brain that is not necessarily good for, your mental well-being when you're invested in a business or you're doing business. I don't know. It's a little weird. All right, my friend.
Thanks,
everybody
Bob.
have a lovely week if it's possible. Have fun.